Hi everyone, my name is Lily Connolly and I'm a rising senior majoring in writing and minoring in leadership and psychology. And for the fall of 2019, which was my first semester of my junior year, I studied abroad at Oxford. So Oxford breaks the year up into three parts: the Michaelmas term, which is from October to December, the Hilary term from January to March, and the Trinity term from April to June. So I was studying there for the Michaelmas term, which is from October to December. And my primary tutorial was major novels and poetry, which counts towards the literature requirement for my major. And in this tutorial, I wrote several different essays, including ones where I analyzed figurative language, narration, and alliteration, sestinas, how the supernatural works in literature, and we ended the class by studying allusions and intersectionality in a modern book by Ali Smith called Girl Meets Boy. And then my second tutorial was women's studies, which I could use for my baccalaureate experience credits. And in this tutorial, we focused on queer theory's relationship to women's studies. So I wrote essays about an analysis on biology and gender differences and modern day issues for same-sex parents. And then I ended the class with my final essay being about why boys are being overtaken by girls at school. So tutorials are typically designed as one-on-one meetings with a tutor, and mine were no different. So a typical week in my life at Oxford began with a one-on-one session with my tutor where they would assign literature, articles, and books that they want you to read for that week. And then I spent the rest of the week reading those materials, coming up with a thesis, and a few days constructing the final essay, which for me were usually around 5 to 10 pages. And then I brought my essay to the tutorial that week where my tutor and I would discuss what I wrote about and provide some counter arguments and then build off the argument to develop it further. So it's important to do the reading and spend quite a lot of time making sure that it shows in your writing because the tutorials can be intense. But what I liked most about my life in Oxford was getting the chance to have independent control over my education. So the tutorial styles were classes that were once a week, and so the rest of the time I was finding places to study, such as the Bodleian Library and local coffee shops. And since we lived next to a coffee shop called Barefoot, I frequently went there in the mornings to get a snack and write for a few hours. So during the weekends, Oxford is a wonderful place to explore. I would like to visit local restaurants and pubs to experience England and what it has to offer, but Oxford also has some of the best free museums in the world, so I definitely blocked off a few afternoons to wander around those. But when I needed some time to relax, Oxford also had some of the best gardens and parks where you could wander around the fields of cows. And for some academic events, it was always fun to go to their formal balls. So the flexibility of classes and studying time also gave me the chance to take long weekend trips around Europe if I got all my work done. So I went to numerous countries, which really provided me with a hands-on educational experience that I just couldn't get in the classroom. So overall, I would really recommend Oxford to anyone looking to take advantage of this program. It's definitely one of my favorite parts of my college experience, and I have countless memories and great friends from my time there that I will always cherish. So thank you for listening. Please reach out to me if you have any questions.
Hi everyone, my name is Yana and I'm a junior at UT. I went on the Oxford Study Abroad program in the spring of 2020, and I just want to tell you a little bit more about it. It was one of the most insane experiences I've ever had. It was something completely different than the normal study abroad programs. We got to do a lot of independent study, which taught me a lot in terms of the education that I value and how I learn as an individual. I was able to go into a lot of depth in topics that I'm interested in and that doesn't really fit the mold of a traditional class at a university. I am a biology major, so I studied the ecology of malaria, and I also looked at behavioral biology and how genetics and the brain are related. The Oxford opportunity is something that I would have never been able to do if it wasn't for the honours program, and I'm forever grateful for that. I got to meet the most incredible people. I got to network with people I would have never been introduced to if I didn't go, and it's also an opportunity to have fun, to travel to experience a different culture and to broaden your own worldviews on education and the way people live and new foods. And I hope and encourage all of you to look into it when the time comes. If you're interested in research, no matter what your major is, this is an incredible opportunity. And if you guys see me around on campus and would like to know more, please come to me or go to anyone that you know in the honors program, and they would be happy to refer you. I hope you guys are excited for the semester to come. Bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. I'm a junior at UT, and I just got back from my Oxford Abroad program. While I was there, I was involved in the Blockchain Society as well as 2 tutorials, the first one being existentialism in the UK and how it affects UK politics, and the second one was the promises and perils of blockchain in auditing. So when you're asked to apply to the Oxford program through UT, they want you to come up with tutorial ideas, so make sure it's something that you're really passionate about and something that UT doesn't offer. So you want to be able to delve into these topics and break them down into weekly assignments. I was given 2 essays, 1 per tutorial, and then at the when we had our tutorial meeting at the end of the week, we actually had an open conversation about what I wrote, the topic. They asked me questions, I asked them questions, and normally at the end, they gave me resources that I could further look into the topic. I made a ton of friends, I had a lot of fun, 2-hour bus ride from London, and you have the capability of traveling since you only have 2 1-hour meetings a week. I really recommend this program to students who are really independent and who want to get outside of their comfort zone and really challenge themselves through both writing capabilities, critical thinking skills, and just living on your own in a different country. I really recommend this program and hope you all apply. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Marcella Benner, and I'm going to talk to you about the Oxford Study Abroad experience as offered by the UT Honors Program. A little bit about myself. I am going to be a senior at UT this year. I'm double majoring in cybersecurity and finance, and I went to Oxford in the fall of 2019 and had a really great time. And I'll tell you a little bit about it so that you can get excited and apply for it in the future. First thing you should know about Oxford is that it's actually comprised of about 30 different colleges. The one I went to specifically was Christ Church College, one of Oxford's oldest and most famous colleges. As you can see from the pictures, it's a beautiful place and was really cool to be a part of. If there's any Harry Potter fans out there, you might recognize the picture on the left because the dining hall, the Hogwarts dining hall in the movies was actually filmed and based off of the Christ Church dining hall. And there are some other shots around Christchurch's campus that appear in the movies. There's a coat of arms of Christchurch. Obviously, when you're over there, your studies will be your primary focus, and these will take place in the form of tutorials. What tutorials are is they are you and a professor one-on-one, not like a normal US classroom where you've got one professor to like 20 students, just you and that professor. So you will write essays as like your homework in between each meeting. And when you're in your meeting, it's all discussion based. So you'll show them what you know, what you've researched, and what you've learned, and you'll pick their brain, any questions you have about your topic, and really just be able to delve deep into what you want to learn. And the best thing about tutorials is that they are so flexible, and you can learn whatever you want in your studies. I went over there for cybersecurity, and I was really able to tailor my topic to things that weren't necessarily offered as courses at UT, which is a great experience for anybody who has a specific thing they're interested in and they can't get that in their typical classwork. You'll have a minor course, which meets every other week, and a major course, which meets every week. You should expect a lot of writing. Like I said, your homework week to week are essays. So you're going to have to do a lot of research and a lot of writing. And this may seem daunting, but it's worth the experience. It's worth all that you learn. If you don't like writing, but you want to go to Oxford, you better learn to love it because it's definitely going to be a part of your experience there. The nice thing about all this writing and research is that Oxford has the best places to study and do your homework. You'll see that building there. That's the Radcliffe Camera at Oxford. It's actually a library. So that's where I would do most of my studying. It's exclusive to Oxford students. So you walk in there and you'll see just 3 floors of books and students typing away at their keyboards and studying. So it's just a really cool experience to be a part of. One of my favorite parts at Oxford were the clubs. You can join clubs there to really get a feel for what it's really like to be an Oxford student. Obviously, I'm interested in cybersecurity, so I joined the computer science club and learned a lot of interesting things apart from my tutorials. And I also like to play basketball, so I was able to join the women's basketball club, which was really fun. The best thing about clubs is that they're a great way to meet people so that you can, really get that Oxford experience and make friends from all over the world. Housing was amazing at Oxford. I had a single, there's a view of my flat on the left and a view from my flat on the right. And it was just really cool to be able to leave my flat every morning and just walk through the cute streets of Oxford and explore the town. That's about all I have, but I really encourage you to think about applying for this when you guys become juniors and seniors, because it was such a cool experience. And the honors program never has enough people apply, so make sure you apply and you try to get this experience, because it was so cool. It really helped shape the way that I view the world and viewed academics and my topics of study. So yeah, I hope you got a better feel of what Oxford's all about and are excited to be part of the UT Honors Program.
Hi, I'm Emma Stang. I'm a senior here at the University of Tampa, majoring in marine science and environmental science, and I received the Timothy Smith Award last year. So who is Timothy Smith? He was someone who loved to travel and wanted to share his experiences with others. Throughout his entire education, he's traveled to places like Hong Kong, Malaysia, and India, and documented those travels so that it would inspire others to explore and learn as well. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2003. However, his family now provides a $2,500 award to a UT student annually to travel abroad in the summer. For me, I had the privilege of traveling to 6 different countries, but I wanted to focus my time on the 3 countries that mean the most to me. The first one is here on the screen. This is Sabah, Borneo. This is Mount Kinabalu in the picture. The second is Pilanesberg, South Africa. And the third is Walvis Bay, Namibia. For me, my experiences abroad were all about expanding my comfort zone in every sense of the word. Not only did I travel by myself for the majority of my trip, but I got to have close encounters with wildlife that most people see only on television. I got to immerse myself in cultures around the world and learn other stories. And lastly, I got to apply my marine science degree to a research internship where I learned valuable research techniques. If you're anything like me, if you're a marine science major or an environmental science major, or you just love animals, you'll appreciate these next few slides as much as I do. So these are pictures from my camera of all the wildlife, well, not all the wildlife, but a few of my favorite species that I saw in Borneo. And if you're anything like me, you'll understand when I say it's a completely indescribable feeling to see these animals up close and personal, and realize that most people don't get to see these animals this close. So for me, this was a life-changing moment in itself, just to be able to make eye contact with these animals. And I'm looking to go to vet school after my time here at the University of Tampa, and so learning about different ecosystems and different types of wildlife was very helpful for my future as well. This was the wildlife that I saw in South Africa, and again, I grew up watching shows on Animal Planet, And these were animals that I saw only through the TV. And so to be able to sit in my little safari vehicle and just look to my right and see a pair of lions looking at me was just an indescribable feeling. And you learn so much about their behavior and their ecology. And this was something that will stay with me for the rest of my life. I will never forget these encounters with these animals. The next part about my trip was the culture and all of the people that I met. And I don't know about you guys, but I love meeting new people. I love meeting new people from different backgrounds because I think diversity really facilitates your education and it's just fun to meet new people. That top middle picture that you see on the screen, the guy in the very back of the boat, that was one of our guides, Ramen, in Borneo, and we are actually Facebook friends now. So it's really cool to be friends with people all the way across the world. And then the picture on the bottom left is my plate of all these Bornean desserts. You can see I didn't really have that much dinner that night because most Bornean dessert is absolutely phenomenal, as you can tell by all the bizarre colors of it. I think we don't really have desserts that are those wacky colors, so of course that caught my attention and I was going to try absolutely every one of them. So that's just another thing about traveling to different places, is meeting all the people there, and everyone there in Borneo, South Africa, and Namibia were so hospitable. So that was a really cool part of my journey as well. In the last part of my presentation, I want to talk about my research internship in Namibia. So for me, I was accepted into a marine research internship in Walvis Bay, which is in the southwest part of Africa. I was in a town that was right on the coast working with the Namibian Dolphin Project. I was part of research on two species of dolphins, which were bottlenose dolphins and heaviside dolphins, humpback whales, blackback jackals, Cape fur seals, flamingos, and a wide variety of other seabirds. So you can see on the upper right, that's a picture from the boat of the bottlenose dolphins that live there. And then the bottom left is a picture of a heaviside dolphin. So the main priority of the internship was photo identification of bottlenose and heaviside dolphins. And what's cool about this is that through our photos, we're able to identify specific individuals by their distinct markings, which help us learn about their complex social relationships with one another. We also take part in biopsying to match the genetic samples collected with our photos. So for example, if you look at the picture of the bottlenose on the upper right, those marks that you see on them are actually little like bacterial lesions on them. And then the pictures I put on here aren't very helpful really for photo identification, but typically we don't really look at the marks on the body. We look at the marks on the dorsal fin, on the trailing edge of the dorsal fin, and sometimes, dolphins will get into fights with each other, and they'll leave, wedges or bite marks or different shaped little wedges or nudges outside of their dorsal fin. And so, surprisingly, all of these different marks look different, and they usually take these marks with them for the rest of their lives. So, it's actually really cool to pay attention to all those marks because Namibia has a very small population of bottlenose dolphins. I think it's about 60 of them. And so to go out on the boat every single day and to take pictures of these bottlenose dolphins and to try and pick up on the pattern of which dolphins are hanging out with who and which dolphins have new calves that were born allows us to learn a little bit more about their social relationships. I was also a part of a lot of outreach events. One of my dreams was to be able to work up a necropsy on an animal that had stranded itself. Unfortunately for the animal, but unfortunately for me, no animals had stranded themselves while I was there. But that picture on the very left is me sitting in our boat full of humpback whale bones. A humpback whale had stranded itself a while back, and it had started to decompose. So we harvested the bones, and those bones were going to be displayed in our office for education purposes. But outreach events, I was there during International World's Oceans Day, and
we went out and put up a tent at this fair that they had, and I can't tell you how cool of a feeling it was to have all these school children come up to you and ask you questions about the marine life, um, and watch their faces get just as excited about marine life as I do. And so to be able to pass on my passion to people who not won't don't necessarily know too much about the wildlife right outside their back door was really, really cool. And we actually had this one little boy who was very, very bright and answered all of our questions, and he actually wanted to be a part of this and wanted to go into conservation. So that was very cool for me to be a part of that. My favorite part of the internship was the acoustics, though. This picture shows me recording a mom and a baby Cape fur seal. A lot of the time, the mom and the babies get separated, and there is a really high mortality rate of Cape fur seals in Namibia just because they do get separated a lot. And pups can't necessarily nurse on any mom. A lot of the time, the mom will reject that pup if it's not her own, or the pup she already does have will start to fight with that lost pup. And so I was recording the calls between the mom and the pup, because there's a hierarchy of sounds that the mom and the pup go through to find each other. We also use hydrophones in the water to record dolphin communication, which was really cool because when you analyze that, you can actually hear the signature whistles of dolphins. So each individual dolphin has their own signature whistle, just as I have my name Emma and you have your individual name. When they make this signature whistle, there's different inflection points and things like that. So when other dolphins are in the area, it's basically like saying, hey, my name is such and such, and just kind of introducing themselves. And then we also used recording devices on the shore for flamingo communication, which also allows us to understand how they're interacting with one another. Lastly, I was able to get involved with the plastic disentanglement of Cape fur seals, which is the picture on the bottom right. Fishing is a main economic driver in the town. However, that does mean that a lot of their equipment gets wrapped up in seal colonies, and seal pups are curious little animals. This case was a grim one because the fishing line was stuck deep into this little guy's neck. However, we were able to remove the line and he was successfully released to his family. So that was kind of an adrenaline rush for me to jump out of the truck and run over there and capture him and get him out, but it was definitely rewarding. Not only did I learn so much academically and through research and about animals and the wildlife in all these different countries, but I learned a lot about myself. This was the first time I traveled outside of the US by myself before, so this was all new to me. And not only being immersed in so many different cultures, but I learned so much about myself and what I want to do in the future, and that has given me all the confidence in the world. I've learned that you can literally do anything you want, despite what anyone has to say. The only thing standing in your way is yourself. The Honors Program is here to help you discover who you are and help you to get to where you want to go. I urge all of you to take advantage of every opportunity that the Honors Program has to offer. Not just the scholarships and the awards, but the symposia and the interactions with new people and new subjects, because you never know what experience you might have that will change your life. Thank you so much, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions.